Good morning. It is a Friday. It is going to be a wet weekend. We got a lot going on. You're going to hear a lot about weather the next week. I just want to remind you that we live in California. This is what's supposed to happen. The majority of our rain comes from atmospheric rivers. So if we're not having atmospheric rivers, then you know what we're doing? I'm up here telling you, oh, here's a drought monitor and here's this. It's one or the other, right? And now it's the other. It's rain. And we're going to get it. We're going to probably see a little bit of creek flooding, small creeks, and a little bit of urban and small stream stuff, which is California. So there's a flood watch for Northern California right now, which takes us through Sunday. I'll show you that. But I guess what I'm just saying is this has become, let me fix this up a little bit. This, weather and, just all the different departments that are responsible for your safety are quick at pulling the trigger now on any kind of watch warning because they don't want to be liable, right? Which I understand. And so there's a tendency to over forecast everything. And on these, they super get over forecast because it could get unload or it might not, or you might not see anything, or you may see a lot. So we're gonna go 24 hours at a time. I appreciate your patience on this, and I'm stoked. This is the atmospheric river of sorts, and you can see here we are. I'll put a little loop around us, and that's just a bunch of moisture. Here's the fuel, the moisture. Here's the engine. There's a little low right there, so that's gonna squeeze some stuff out. And then here's this secondary low back here, this big low that's going to kick in later on, and that's going to drop the snow levels early next week and bring LA, our good friends down there, some rain. We have already seen some showers. This is the last 24 hours. And this is California Nevada River Forecast Center data. It's raw data, so some of it like this 1.80, that's anomalous, right? So you just look at the colors. So already, one of the things I'll do, so we'll go up by Cape Mendocino here, up by Point Arena. All you guys up there, I know who you are. Glenn McPhee, Mark Reneker. A lot of guys moved up there to catch quiet waves by themselves. When I look at this map, I'll look, okay, what's going on further north? Because those dynamics are eventually going to get our way. So you can see the intensity of the rainfall, pretty aggressive north of Cape Mendocino. That's all going to slip south over the next day or so. And that's even true of LA. You can kind of get a vibe for these storms by looking at what's coming, what's happened up above us, what's happened to the north of us. And you see, even in the Bay Area, 0.02, San Francisco, that's 2/100 of an inch. Marin County watershed, Mount Tam, which is going to end up with over a half foot of rain by the time this is done. But that's not hard to do over the course of many days. They'll probably see more than that. But 0.05 in Mill Valley, so pretty quiet. The National Weather Service out of Monterey, as they should, have a urban and small stream, or no, actually a flood watch for these areas. And I think what to take away here is look at the fire hose, right? Where is it? Well, there it is, man. Right? It's narrow. You go a little further north. The flood advisory is not Point Arena. It's not down in Monterey. It's central core of the bay. So that's kind of where the models are suggesting the most fuel levels will be, the most moisture available, the most dynamics. In a lot of cases, in the case of the Sierra Nevada, the most topography. Because this atmospheric rivers are all about topography. We can pretend they're not, but they are. They love to hit a mountain and go up, create more rain, higher snow levels. I mean, the snow levels are going to be 6,500 feet for a time as we go through the next day or so. Southern California, you guys don't hit it until no watches or warnings for you. You guys get into it on Monday, Tuesday. So that's a ways off, but you can watch it happen up here and know that it's coming your way, which is great because that's going to further enhance your fuel moistures. Okay, so here we are. I just want you to see why the models struggle with this. This is a computer model. This is the forecast for the precipitable water. So the blue, let's go the blue, right? That's the AR. That's essentially the width of the AR. There's other weather around it, but the fuel sweet spot is right there. So watch what happens. It goes down, then it goes up. Now it cuts off. That's on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Then it drops down again, and then it kicks through. So first thing you notice is it's really It's squirrely. The AR is squirrely. So this is why when I say let's not go out 48 hours, let's not go out 72 hours. We'll look at it, and we are, but that's why, because it just moves around. And wherever that plume goes, even here on the 7th of February, it brings in another little weaker component of an atmospheric river. And then look at Santa Barbara. This is on Saturday the 8th. So I love the models. We all love the models because they give us a good guideline of what to expect. But when it comes to ARs, don't buy in too heavy. Like, buy in heavy on the 24-hour deal. Or, the best thing to buy in is get on the radar in the morning, look at it, go, there's the rain now. And then put it in a loop on it, and then watch the motion of it. In other words, sometimes these are best done, 12 to 24 hours at a time, but watching what's happening around you, and then knowing the wind direction. So we'll get into that. Here is us. Here we are. And let's see, there we are, way over there. Okay, so these are the dynamics. It's 500 millibars halfway up through the atmosphere, the jet stream. The reds and yellows represent vorticity. That is, in my mind, the energy, the engine that triggers the fuel. So, and you see it all around us, but see how it's mainly north, which is typical, mainly north of San Francisco. They're just hitting on Marin County. Isn't that amazing how Marin County? And then here is the breakthrough. That's on Tuesday, Monday night into Tuesday morning. And that's when it clicks into LA. Okay, so that's, you guys are down there Tuesday or so. Big low to the north. But I think now, again, we're into fantasy land now because this pattern is dynamic. The fuel moisture, or not the fuel moisture, but the AR, where it's located. So now I'm just showing you what the model thinks is going to happen, and it is super aggressive on wave after wave after wave of weather through the 16th of February. Is that going to happen? No. Something like that will happen, but again, 24 hours at a time. So here's our close-up map. Sea level pressure, lines close together, that's wind. And you can see there's some wind up here, or forecast wind up here. And then down further south, the pressure gradient hasn't tightened up yet. So here we go. This is right now, essentially, and this is this afternoon, okay? And again, so that's the day, and you clearly see, if you're down at Pebble Beach, and I know they're playing golf down there, they'll get a little bit of rain, but they're not storming. It doesn't appear they are. Heaviest rain's still going to be up there in the north coast, and in that bullseye along the west slope of the Sierra Nevada, which is, by the way, picks up Oroville and Shasta, Lake Oroville and Lake Shasta, which are going to get a bunch of rain. And they'll get some of those creeks up there will get up to monitor stage, but for the most part, the big rivers should be fine. That's what reservoirs do. That's what they're, a lot of reservoir activity, and it's certainly what they sold them as. But they're for a lot of things. But flood control is one of the things they are helpful with. So this is, now we're getting out past our 24-hour window, and it still stays north. And it still stays north and goes north further on Sunday as it loads up. Snow levels come up on Sunday, and this guy drops in. That is on Monday, right? And then there's your SoCal activity. So, again, and we're into fantasy land now. But suffice to say, models are saying bunch of rain somewhere, mainly north. Models are also saying, don't trust us because we're all over the map. Just go 24 hours at a time. Models didn't say that. I said that. But you'll be a happier, healthier human being, and you won't buy into the hype. Because, quite frankly, some of the scenarios I've seen on the GFS are spooky, like a foot of rain up in Grass Valley. I mean, that's spooky, but it's like, well, a lot of rain. And it could happen too. Okay, so this is 24 hours at a time. This is a rainfall accumulation. We're going to go right. I just want you to see the first 24 hours. So here is this afternoon. And that's not 24 hours, but you see San Jose at a 1,500 of an inch, Marin County at a half inch. And you see what's going on up around Del Norte County and up around Cape Mendocino, Point Arena, Fort Bragg. It's going off. So now we get into the overnight, and we go, there's the morning. So you see it loads up again, and you see the yellows. So now I feel good about this forecast. I feel good about this for rainfall precipitation footprint. You can see Marin over an inch of rain. Mountains, they're going to get snow, but it's going to be above 6,500 feet. So it's one of those deals where it's raining at lake level. So, okay, now we can go on. We feel good about this footprint. Let's move forward and see what the potential is here. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. And you see it really continues that pattern. And see, this is pretty explosive stuff. That is by, let's get you right here. That's by Monday afternoon. And that's bullseye on Oroville, Shasta, Folsom, Lake Sonoma. All that, those are ridiculous levels we're in. That's a foot of rain, or not foot of rain, pardon me. That's the blue areas represent, was that 7 inches of rain, almost a foot of rain, up in the foothills. So, and I'm not opposed to that at all. I just feel like it could either go a little further north or a little further south. And look at that line, look at that delineation. That is between San Francisco, that's between our Daly City and Marin County. And that's those reds versus those greens are a whole nother animal. So stay tuned. But then I can really get into fantasy land and we can just go, holy smokes, look at that. Now, LA, you're like, what's going on? We're not really getting much of anything. You'll get a little, but the models really are centric and married to the topography, which is the coastal hills, the higher coastal hills of the North Bay and the west slope of the Sierra Nevada. And it's significant. So that's kind of, I hate to say fantasy land, but it's sort of fantasy land. But it's also, it's pretty good. That's how I would foresee it. This is, where are we? Donner Summit? Yeah, I think we're at Donner Summit. And this is Sugar Bowl, pardon me, top of Sugar Bowl. It's going to rain. Now, Sugar Bowl's high. It's up at Donner Summit, so they're going to see snow at this elevation on Mount Lincoln. But suspect they're going to see rain at pass level driving into the ski resort. Not the best weekend or week to ski. This is Concal. This is my old childhood stomping grounds, which is just kind of out by Polga and Paradise. And you see this is this afternoon or this morning, and there's the rain. Not a lot of dynamics yet, but you see how the rain's being squoze out by the topography. Concal is like, that thing is going to load up on rain. They're in that, 8 inches to 1 foot rainfall potential. Okay, so 24 hours at a time. Surfed yesterday. It was weirdly fun. I might even go today just because it's kind of a southeast wind, but it's small. Ocean Beach, going to get wet there, especially across the bridge up to Marin County. And then this is Huntington Beach. It's funny, when I started surfing up here, I've told this story 1,000 times, but I started up here in the late 70s, and they used to say, I'd tell people from Paradise, because we were kind of skiers back then, and I go, there's surf down in San Francisco. And I was at Berkeley, and everybody's like, the LA kids are like, no, there's not. I go, no, I swear to God, we got surf. And they're like, no, you don't. We got surf. We got Huntington Beach. And it's all these years later, we really did believe the only good surf was in Southern California. And then you look at a day, it's beautiful in Southern California, but we have so much surf, more surf than they do. Not so much more in terms of more spots. They have more spots, places to surf, but we have way more swell. And it's just funny. It was just it's hard to imagine that anybody would, with Mavericks and Point Arena and these places, not know that we had, of course we have bigger waves. We're in Northern California where we're closer to the storm center, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it looks like it's snowing a little bit. Temperatures, I don't have a temperature on this. I think it's 38 degrees. Snowing up Whitmore grade. That's nice to see, but it's going to turn over to rain once that warmer, moisture air gets in here. So that is the roadway. This is the national map. We'll do a quick look here. This is today. These are the watches and warnings. So this is the flood watch. And based on what I just showed you, that makes sense. Green being the flood watch. And then the blues are storm watches, winter storm warnings, and pink. That's down towards Bear Valley. A lot of winter storm concerns up here. They are actually getting into some cold air in the Pacific Northwest. And you guys, because you're into the cold air sector, and you're going to have access to some of this subtropical fuel. It is going to snow to beat the band. As a matter of fact, I think some of the stories coming out next week are going to be about how much snow the Cascades managed to pull off. And then pretty quiet everywhere else. So this is the day. This is kind of the surface map. It's kind of fun to look at. This is old school meteorology. There's the high, there's the low, there's the cold front, there's the rain. You can just kind of visually look at it. This is where we are today. Tomorrow, this area will load up. This one moves offshore a little more, but pretty quiet day across the country, especially if you're going into the east. So, okay, so that's kind of a lot. 24 hours at a time. It's going to be wet. You got everything you need to know. All this stuff you can find on my links page if you want to update. Because one of the things you could do is if you're, because I'm not going to do another one today, I don't think. I'm not, unless something happens. But you could go to the links and go to the COD, College of DePay website, and then go to models, and then go to sea level pressure rainfall. And you could run that thing through because it updates 4 times a day, right? So, the 12Z run 00. There's 4 different times that you can look at the output, and the output changes, and it's going to change. So if it changes dramatically, I will make a point of updating. But it is my Friday. It's your Friday too. Okay. Thanks for listening.